Whether you've hit your breaking point or you're ready to rise up from the depths of burnout, welcome to the channel. Burnout is something almost all Flesh and Blood players will face at some point or another. Even if you're not attending Armory's 5 nights a week and traveling to Grind the World Tour, burnout can still creep up and make playing the game feel like a chore. But once you become burnt out, what can you do to bring joy back to Flesh and Blood? No matter how burnt out you are, or if you're just interested in learning about burnout in general, today's video is for you. While burnout is most often attributed to the workplace, it can suck joy out of all aspects of life, including hobbies. Because of that, today's burnout tips are going to be focused on Flesh and Blood. In today's video, I'll break down the science of burnout, show you how to prevent it, and provide practical tips to bounce back if you're already burnt out. With actionable strategies, you'll learn how to stay motivated, keep the game fun, and continue to grow as a player. If you're ready, let's get started. Before we can even start to fight burnout, it's important to understand what it is and what causes it in the first place. Even though burnout is a natural phenomenon, the term was first coined in the mid-1970s, defined by 3 critical features. The first is emotional exhaustion, or feeling like you've hit a wall without any more energy left to give. The second is depersonalization, or distancing oneself with a lack of caring, compassion, and empathy. And the final is a lack of fulfillment, accompanied by a diminished sense of accomplishment and enjoyment. Given the competitive nature around Flesh and Blood, burnout can happen for a number of reasons. Maybe you've been playing so much that you're exhausted, or question whether the time you spent on the game is even worth it. Maybe your primary hero isn't at the top of the meta, or you're tired of losing to a certain type of deck. Maybe you don't know when your class is going to get the power cards that they need in order to align with the rest of the field. Or maybe you feel like you're not improving as much as you'd hoped, or you feel like you're not winning as often as you should be. While this isn't an exhaustive list, if you've ever felt any of these symptoms of burnout in Flesh and Blood, I want to remind you that burnout is a completely natural response to prolonged stress. However, the good news is that burnout doesn't have to be permanent. In fact, burnout is a gradual process, and understanding the various stages can help you to recognize where you are, as well as to take action to prevent burnout from worsening. The first phase is the honeymoon phase. This is where we feel fresh and ready to prove ourselves. Even though the honeymoon phase is a great place to be, it can also set the stage for burnout if we push too hard without pacing ourselves. It's best to stay in the honeymoon phase as long as possible to keep enjoyment of the game at its peak. In order to do that, remember that it's important to take regular breaks, even if you feel like you have the energy to put in more effort. Similarly to how your body needs rest after exercise to become stronger, your brain also needs time off to grow more resilient. By giving yourself permission to take breaks, you'll find more sustained enjoyment and energy to come back refreshed and ready to tackle whatever your next fab challenge is. If you aren't taking breaks or you're letting the stress get to you, the honeymoon phase starts to deteriorate. Maybe your expectations aren't aligned with your results, or your practice feels less productive than before. You may respond by staying up late playing games on Talishar to try to compensate for feeling less productive than before. You might even be more irritable during games as you become frustrated with increased errors during your games and find yourself reacting rather than playing proactively around your opponents. At this point, the best step is to reflect on what's causing the stress. Try to assess whether you can directly address or remove the stressors altogether. Rather than pushing into the stress, it's often better to come back after a short break, taking time to rest and refuel. From personal experience, rest is an S-tier tool, and you'll be surprised with the solutions your brain comes up with in the background while you're taking a break. If the stressors continue without being addressed, chronic stress starts to build. Because the stressors haven't gone away on their own, you may feel a sense of powerlessness to change your environment. You may find yourself getting more frustrated than before, putting your own personal needs on the back burner in response to the stressors going on around you. However, at this point, it's important to focus on what you can control or maintaining an internal locus of control. While you may not be able to control which opponents you face in an event or the randomness that stems from Fab being a card game, there actually is a lot that you can influence, from your hero and deck choices to how you pitch, attack, and defend with each card in your deck. Chronic stress can take a toll mentally, so it's important to acknowledge any amount of progress you're making towards your goals. On top of that, recognize that taking care of your overall health, physical, mental, and emotional, is critical at this point. If you haven't done so already, start making small, sustainable changes to bring more balance to your life overall. As chronic stress compounds, burnout can no longer be ignored. This leads to apathy, despair, and disillusionment. You may feel mentally and emotionally exhausted from stress, which can even manifest as physical symptoms like headaches or even insomnia. If you're experiencing burnout, it's important to avoid maladaptive coping methods, which can actually lead to more stress over time. Instead, focus on coping mechanisms that deal with the problem and help you to recover from burnout. The final act is habitual burnout, which causes significant problems, making it hard to function in all aspects of life. While external support can help at the habitual burnout stage, I strongly recommend seeking out professional help as soon as you feel like you might be experiencing burnout. Talking to a therapist, counselor, or any other mental health professional can help provide the tools and support you need to address burnout effectively. I'm speaking from personal experience. It's a true sign of strength to recognize when you need help and taking the steps to seek it out. Most importantly, please realize that you can recover from burnout. In addition to professional help, there are a number of strategies that can help you build resilience and prevent burnout from happening again in the future. On top of professional help, burnout recovery starts with building habits that support resilience and your overall well-being. One of the most important pieces is sleep. While it's one of the first things that people start to neglect, it's actually one of the best tools to help fight burnout. Try going to bed a little bit earlier, setting a gentle alarm at the end of the day as a reminder to start winding down. While there's more research about good sleep hygiene than I can cover here in today's video, know that a well-rested mind and body can handle stress better. Another strategy is to gently incorporate exercise into your routine. Physical activity lowers cortisol levels, which is the hormone released during stress. It not only helps to fight stress, but improves sleep, boosts mood, and sharpens cognitive performance. Be careful not to overdo it though. Start small based on your current fitness level, even if it means taking a walk outside or doing a different physical activity that you enjoy. The next component is a little more nuanced and will depend on what's causing your burnout in the first place. In summary, mental recovery involves giving your brain a break, whether that means trying out new heroes, playing for fun formats like UPF or Commoner, or even taking a break from the game altogether. Trying out new things can help reignite your enjoyment of the game by introducing fresh challenges and opportunities to learn and grow. Outside of the game, activities that promote mindfulness like journaling, meditation, or yoga can further help reset your mindset and build resiliency. Humans are social creatures, and human connection is a powerful way to reduce stress and improve your mood. Though this may seem counterintuitive if flesh and blood is a source of your stress, spending time with your community can be a great way to build connections and prevent burnout altogether. It can be as simple as calling a loved one, grabbing food before an armory, or even sending memes to friends. By building resiliency and giving yourself time to recover, you can not only reignite your passion for flesh and blood, but come back more enthusiastic than ever. Remember that it's okay to take a step back when needed. The game will still be here when you come back. I'm hopeful that you'll come back refreshed and ready to enjoy the game more than ever before. I hope these tips help you to better understand burnout and, more importantly, prevent or recover from it altogether. If I missed anything, or if you have any questions about burnout, let me know in the comments below. That's all for me today, folks. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll teach you in the next one.